They wait in the silence where grass moves like whispers, where rivers stir under a predator's moon, where shadows coil beneath burning sand. They carry a weapon so precise that a single drop can turn blood to ash, muscles to water, breath to nothing. How does a creature without claws or roar become one of the deadliest forces on Earth? Why does a single strike end a life before a scream can rise? In a world ruled by tooth and claw, how did venom become nature's quietest, most ruthless assassin? On today's episode, we travel into that darkness, across deserts where heat wavers like ghosts, through swamps thick with the scent of decay, into jungles alive with unseen movement, and out into oceans that keep their own cold secrets, to stand before nature's deadliest serpents and reveal how a flicker of their fangs can end life before the breath to scream can form. But tell me, if you stood face to face with one, would you trust your instinct to run? Or would you freeze as death winds itself quietly around your ankles? Beneath the shimmering skin of the ocean, where light fractures into shifting ghosts and the currents carry secrets, something moves with the quiet grace of silk. The Belcher's sea snake is slender, almost fragile in appearance, drifting effortlessly through the warm, shallow waters of the Indo-Pacific. Its scales catch the sun, glinting silver and black as it weaves among coral reefs and over the sand where shadows dance. It does not hunt with speed or violence, but with the calm certainty of something that knows a single bite is enough. This snake carries venom so potent that a few milligrams could end dozens of lives, yet the Belcher's sea snake remains shy, reclusive, a phantom of the tides. Its venom is a pure neurotoxin, a silent saboteur that severs the body from the mind, shutting down the nervous system with quiet efficiency. One moment you move, the next your muscles betray you, lungs refusing to draw breath as the world darkens around you. It hunts fish and eels, slipping close in the slow ballet of the sea, striking with a flicker too quick for the eye, venom flowing like a whispered curse into its prey. The fish stiffens, drifts, surrendering to the silence as the Belcher's sea snake continues its glide, leaving death in its wake with the indifference of the tide. They say its venom could kill a human in less than half an hour, but here is the truth. Despite its unimaginable lethality, it does not seek conflict. Most bites to humans are dry, a warning rather than a death sentence, for it does not see us as prey or threat unless we force it to strike. Yet one chilling fact remains. Among all snakes, the Belcher's sea snake holds the crown for the most toxic venom by weight, a creature so quiet and small that death hides in plain sight, beneath the surface of gentle waves. If you ever find yourself in the warm seas of Southeast Asia, watch where you step, where you reach, where you swim. For the deadliest venom in the world does not roar from the depths. It drifts, gliding past your ankles in the blue hush, unseen and waiting, its fangs writing a story that ends before you can draw your next breath. In the deep hush of Africa's rain-soaked forests, where rotting leaves sweeten the air and shafts of pale light pierce the canopy like silent spears, lies a shadow that does not move until it is too late. The Gaboon viper, heavy-bodied and earth-colored, blends perfectly with the leaf litter, its pattern a tapestry of ambush, its stillness a promise of violence hidden beneath calm. It is a giant among vipers, thick as a man's arm, with a head broad and flat like the blade of an executioner. It moves rarely, wasting no energy, for it knows patience is deadlier than speed in these quiet woods. When the moment comes, it does not hesitate. The Gaboon viper possesses the longest fangs of any venomous snake in the world, folding down like polished daggers, striking with such force that flesh parts before the mind registers pain. Its venom is a brutal mixture of cytotoxins and hemotoxins, a dark alchemy that destroys blood cells, rips through tissue, and unravels flesh from the inside. Prey collapse into the leaves, blood thickening, clotting in the veins, pressure building in a deadly tide before the heart can fail under the strain. It feeds on rodents, monkeys, and small antelope, swallowing them whole as the forest reclaims its hush. Stories surround the Gaboon viper, whispered in villages at the edges of jungles. Some say it is slow, harmless, too heavy to strike quickly. But the truth is deadlier. It is not slow. It is measured. It can strike in the blink of an eye, delivering a massive dose of venom, each drop a promise of agony. Yet, it does not chase, does not hunt humans, and most bites occur when it is stepped on, mistaken for fallen leaves by feet that will never forget the cost of that error. A chilling fact remains. This viper can inject more venom in a single bite than any other snake, a catastrophic volume capable of dissolving flesh and killing a human with terrifying efficiency. It is a creature that kills not out of malice, but because nature made it an instrument of finality in a forest that demands silence. If you walk the rainforests of Central Africa, step lightly, look closely, and understand that the deadliest things often lie in stillness. For the Gaboon viper does not warn with a rattle or a hiss. It waits, a quiet verdict among the leaves. And should you cross it unaware, you will never forget the moment the ground struck back. When the heavy cloak of night falls over the villages and rice fields of South Asia, and the warm wind carries the scent of earth and damp thatch, something stirs in the darkness. It does not need daylight to hunt. It prefers the hours when human eyes are blind and sleep makes the world vulnerable. The common krait is slender, banded in black and white, like a warning whispered too softly to be heard, gliding through the grass, slipping under doors, coiling in corners where bare feet might tread without seeing. This snake carries a venom that is pure neurotoxin, a silent executioner that severs the nerves from the muscles they command, shutting down the body with a quiet and unstoppable certainty. It hunts at night, preying on sleeping rodents and other snakes, striking with precision before curling back into stillness, waiting for the venom to complete what its fangs began. The common krait's bite is deceptively painless, often unnoticed by those it strikes as they sleep on woven mats under the thick, humid air. But in the hours that follow, darkness gathers within the body. The eyelids droop, the voice weakens, breath comes in ragged gasps as the lungs forget how to move. Without antivenom, death arrives quietly, in the hush of pre-dawn, as families awaken to find life stolen in the hours meant for dreams. There is a myth that the krait will seek out humans to bite, that it is aggressive, hateful. The truth is simpler and far more terrifying. It seeks warmth, and in the night, the warmth of a sleeping human is no different to it than the warmth of prey. It does not kill from malice. It kills because it is what it has been shaped to do by countless generations, a perfect predator of the night. A chilling fact. Krait venom is so potent that even a single bite can cause complete paralysis. And many victims are fully aware of their surroundings as their bodies cease to respond, trapped within themselves as the world fades. It is a venom that robs not just life, but the final moments of it, turning breath into a struggle and silence into a tomb. If you ever find yourself in the heart of India or across the fields of Bangladesh, remember to shake out your blankets, check your sleeping mats, and listen for the softest rustle in the night. For the common krait moves unseen, death coiling quietly in the shadows of the dark, striking while you sleep, and leaving only the hush of dawn to find what it has taken. Along the wind-lashed coasts and cool, damp marshes of southern Australia, where sea spray clings to the grass and the call of birds cuts through gray skies, there moves a shadow banded in the colors of warning. The tiger snake, draped in stripes of yellow and black, does not seek to hide like others of its kind. It moves with the confidence of a creature that knows what it carries is more final than any fang or claw. It thrives in wetlands, riverbanks, and coastal plains, a sentinel of the reeds and dark water. Stout-bodied and broad-headed, the tiger snake is quick to defend itself when threatened, lifting the front of its body, flattening its neck, and hissing, a sharp reminder of how close death can stand in the tall grass. Its venom is a dangerous cocktail, a blend of neurotoxins and hemotoxins that dismantle the body from within. The neurotoxins silence the nerves, stealing breath and movement, while the hemotoxins disrupt the blood, breaking down cells, shredding the clotting process, turning the bloodstream into a traitor within. It hunts frogs, small mammals, and birds, striking with ruthless speed before retreating, letting its venom work in the hush of the reeds while it watches, patient and certain. There is a myth among those who fear the tiger snake that it will chase you down, that it will hunt you if you cross its path. But the truth is less dramatic and more unforgiving. It will not flee, and if cornered, it will strike with no hesitation. It does not chase death. It stands its ground and delivers it. A chilling fact: the tiger snake is responsible for a significant portion of snakebite deaths in Australia. Its venom is so potent that it can kill an adult within hours if left untreated, with early symptoms easily mistaken for harmless weakness, until paralysis begins its silent work. If you ever walk the misty wetlands of Tasmania or the riverbanks of Victoria, let each step carry caution. Do not wade carelessly through the reeds or reach into the brush without looking. For the tiger snake does not hide in fear. It waits, unhurried, wrapped in its bands of warning, prepared to remind you that in these lands, even the cool air and gentle waters can harbor death, coiled quietly at your feet. In the red dust of Australia's outback, where the land lies flat under a sky that seems to burn, there is a shape that waits, half buried in sand and leaf litter, patient as the drifting heat. The death adder does not move, does not hunt in the restless way others do. It becomes the earth, a living shadow shaped like a fallen branch, watching with eyes that do not blink, waiting for the moment the world brings prey within the strike zone of its stillness. Short, thick-bodied, with a triangular head that speaks of its purpose, the death adder is a master of ambush. It lures with the subtle twitch of its worm-like tail, a bait for the curious lizard or bird that draws close, seeking an easy meal, unaware that death lies inches away beneath the dust. The death adder's venom is pure, devastating neurotoxin. It does not need the complex alchemy of clotting disruption or tissue destruction. Instead, it severs the connection between mind and body with chilling efficiency, paralysis creeping through the limbs, into the lungs, silencing breath in a hush as the desert wind moves on. Few snakes strike as quickly as the death adder, its attack a blur too swift for the eye to catch, the fangs delivering venom in a heartbeat before it coils back into stillness, letting silence and poison do the rest. There is a myth that the death adder will chase, that it is aggressive, a roving killer in the bush. But the truth is stranger. It will barely move, relying on camouflage so perfect that many bites occur because a boot or a hand breaks the illusion of sand and scale. And the snake responds in the only way it knows. A chilling fact: before the advent of antivenom, the death adder's bite was among the most fatal in Australia, with death often arriving within 6 hours, as victims slipped into paralysis while the world watched, unable to help as breath slowed and finally ceased. If you find yourself walking the dusty tracks of the Australian bush, remember that danger may not announce itself with sound or movement. It may lie still, disguised as a stick among fallen leaves, waiting for a single moment when a shadow crosses its patience. For in the land of heat and dust, the death adder is a lesson written in stillness, reminding all who pass that sometimes death does not come with a roar, but with the quiet certainty of a strike and the silence that follows. Across the sun-bleached savannas and rocky hills of sub-Saharan Africa, where the air shimmers with heat and the wind carries the scent of dust and dry grass, there moves a shadow so swift it seems the earth itself has learned to strike. The Black Mamba, long and lean, can glide across the ground with the speed of a galloping horse, its body a ribbon of lethal purpose, its scales catching the sun in muted shades of gunmetal and ash. Despite its name, its scales are not black, but olive, brown, or gray, the darkness reserved for the inky abyss inside its mouth, a warning displayed only when it feels the need to announce what it is capable of. This snake is the embodiment of speed and precision, able to raise a third of its body off the ground, striking with repeated accuracy, fangs delivering a venom so potent that it has become legend. The Black Mamba's venom is a powerful neurotoxin, designed for efficiency, shutting down the nervous system, paralyzing its prey, and suffocating it from within as the diaphragm ceases to move. It hunts birds, rodents, and small mammals, using its speed to close the distance in an instant, striking again and again, each bite a countdown the prey cannot escape. There is a myth that the Black Mamba will hunt humans, that it will pursue across the savanna, a tireless reaper of those who cross its path. The truth is that while it will stand its ground and defend itself with ferocity if cornered, it prefers escape, retreating to the safety of termite mounds, rock crevices, and hollow trees, where it waits for the heat to soften before venturing out to hunt again. A chilling fact: without antivenom, a Black Mamba bite can claim a life in as little as 20 minutes, with the average death occurring within an hour, leaving victims fully aware as paralysis creeps upward, stealing breath, trapping consciousness within a body that can no longer respond. If you find yourself walking the dusty paths of Africa's wild places, remember that danger here does not always roar from the brush or stalk on padded paws. Sometimes it moves like wind across dry grass, quiet and unannounced, faster than fear can rise, with death hidden behind a mouth that opens in a flash of blackness. For the Black Mamba does not need to chase death. It carries it, coiled quietly within, ready to strike and vanish, leaving only the stillness of the savanna in its wake. In the dry winds that sweep across the deserts and scrublands of Africa, the Middle East, and the Indian subcontinent, where the earth cracks beneath relentless sun and the nights breathe cold across the sand, there is a sound that whispers of death. It is not the hiss of breath or the rattle of a tail, but a soft, rasping scrape, scale against scale, as the saw-scaled viper coils itself in warning, a song of dry leaves before the strike. Small, often no longer than 2 feet, its size betrays nothing of the lethality it carries. Its body, thick and muscular for its length, is patterned in browns and tans that vanish against sand and gravel, its head broad and flat, eyes watching with patient calculation under the moon's cold light. It does not waste energy chasing. It waits, coiled near paths where rodents scurry and lizards dart, where the promise of life walks close enough for death to reach. Its venom is hemotoxic, a brutal alchemy that destroys blood cells, shatters clotting factors, and causes internal bleeding that turns blood into a slow, suffocating poison within the veins. A single bite can lead to swelling that cracks the skin, to bleeding from the gums and eyes, to organs slowly failing as blood can no longer carry life where it is needed. There is a myth that the saw-scaled viper will seek out humans, attacking without reason, a mindless killer in the dark. But the truth is colder. It is defensive, quick to strike when it feels threatened, its small size making it easy to overlook until the strike comes, lightning fast, before feet can move away. A chilling fact: the saw-scaled viper is responsible for more human deaths than any other snake on Earth, its range intersecting with villages, fields, and paths where humans walk, farm, and sleep. Each encounter a roll of the dice, where a single step can write a final chapter. If you ever find yourself under the star-heavy skies of desert lands, in places where sand crunches underfoot and thorn bushes scratch at your clothes, remember to listen. For the rasping whisper of the saw-scaled viper is your only warning. A dry music in the night before the world narrows to a single point of pain, and the sand accepts what falls upon it. In the humid fields and dusty paths of South Asia, where rice paddies shimmer under the morning haze and the scent of wet earth clings to every breath, there moves a creature that is both feared and unseen, a shadow among the stalks and village paths, where barefoot children play and farmers bend low to the soil. The Russell's viper, heavy-bodied and boldly patterned with dark rings that mark its back like silent warnings, is a presence that demands respect in lands where life and death often share the same narrow roads. It does not move with urgency, for it has no need to chase. It coils in the warmth of harvested fields, under the cool shade of thatch and stone, patient, waiting for the rustle of a rat, or the scuttle of a frog. The promise of life venturing too close. When it strikes, it is with brutal precision, its long fangs delivering a venom that has earned it a place among the most dangerous snakes in the world. The venom of the Russell's viper is hemotoxic, laced with coagulants that first clot the blood into thick, deadly sludge, then tear those clots apart, flooding the body with uncontrolled bleeding. Victims may bleed from the gums, the nose, into the eyes, and within, as organs begin to fail under the weight of a circulatory system turned against itself. Pain radiates from the bite, swelling and blistering the flesh, each heartbeat carrying the venom deeper until breath itself becomes a struggle. There is a myth that the Russell's viper is aggressive, eager to strike, but the truth is simpler and more dangerous. It is slow to flee and quick to defend, standing its ground with a hiss that carries like steam in the night, warning those who listen, striking those who do not. A chilling fact: the Russell's viper is responsible for thousands of deaths every year across India, Sri Lanka, and Southeast Asia. Its presence in farmlands and near homes making it a constant risk for those who live closest to the earth, where the viper's coils blend seamlessly with dust and fallen leaves. If you ever walk the narrow paths between fields in the twilight, or move through the cool, damp mornings of rice country, step carefully and listen for the hiss that may be your only warning. For the Russell's viper does not chase death, but it will meet it without hesitation, delivering a venom that can claim breath and life in places where the earth gives no mercy, and where the quiet rustle in the grass can be the last sound you ever hear. In the dense, steaming jungles of Southeast Asia, where the air drips from leaves in heavy sighs and the calls of unseen creatures echo through the green gloom, there moves a shadow that demands silence in its wake. Taller than a man's waist when it rises, with eyes that watch from above the grass, the king cobra is more than a snake. It is a presence, a sovereign ruler of the undergrowth that moves with the calm confidence of something that knows it has no rival. Olive brown or black, scales glinting in bands of muted gold, it drifts through bamboo thickets and forest floors with an unsettling grace, its tongue tasting the warm, damp air as it searches for its chosen prey, other snakes. The king cobra is an apex predator among serpents, consuming pythons, rat snakes, and even venomous cousins, each hunt a quiet dismantling of another predator under the cloak of leaves and shadow. Its venom is a potent blend of neurotoxins and cytotoxins, striking at the nervous system while beginning to break down cells, causing paralysis and respiratory failure, and at times cardiac arrest in its victims. Unlike others that strike and retreat, the king cobra often holds on, injecting large volumes of venom, ensuring its kill with the certainty of a monarch executing its decree. There is a myth that the king cobra is driven by aggression, that it seeks conflict with humans, but the truth is a quieter, older story. It avoids us when it can, slipping away into the jungle. But when cornered, it will stand its ground. Hood flared, eyes fixed, its body rising higher with each warning hiss that echoes through the forest like the whisper of a storm. A chilling fact: the king cobra is the longest venomous snake in the world, reaching lengths of over 18 feet and capable of delivering enough venom in a single bite to kill an elephant. A fact that turns the rustle of bamboo and the hush of damp leaves into a place where death can tower above the earth. If you ever find yourself in the jungles of Thailand, India, or Indonesia, listen to the forest. Listen for the low, rolling hiss that moves like wind through bamboo. And remember that the king cobra does not hunt humans, but it will defend its kingdom without hesitation. For in these jungles, it is not the roar of a tiger that rules the undergrowth, but the quiet command of a serpent that wears its crown in scales and silence, reminding all who walk here that the true king of these lands can end life with a single, deliberate strike before the forest returns to quiet once more. Where the coastal winds sweep across the scrublands and sugarcane fields of northern Australia, where the red earth meets the salt of the sea and the air hums with the crackle of dry grass, there moves a shadow swift enough to vanish between heartbeats. The coastal taipan is a creature built for speed. its long, slender body flowing across the ground like liquid bronze, scales catching the pale glare of the sun as it hunts among the cane and tangled roots. It does not seek conflict. It does not need to, for the coastal taipan knows that it is one of the deadliest serpents to ever breathe, carrying a venom so potent that it can silence life in less time than it takes to call for help. It is a hunter of rodents and birds, striking with terrifying precision, its jaws delivering a dose of neurotoxins and coagulants that begin their ruthless work before its prey even has the chance to understand that it has been chosen. The venom attacks the nervous system, severing communication between the brain and the body, while its coagulant properties transform blood into thick, clotted darkness that can stop a heart or flood the body with internal bleeding. The pain comes quickly, followed by weakness, paralysis, and the slow drowning of breath as the lungs cease their rhythm. There is a myth that the coastal taipan is aggressive, a relentless attacker that will pursue its victims. But the truth is more precise. It is shy, eager to escape, striking only when threatened or cornered. Yet when it does strike, it does so with unmatched speed and multiple bites, ensuring that its venom finds its place within the bloodstream. A chilling fact: before the creation of antivenom, the bite of a coastal taipan was almost always fatal, with death arriving within hours, leaving the bitten to face their final moments fully aware as paralysis and darkness closed in, the world narrowing into silence beneath the blazing Australian sun. If you ever walk the cane fields of Queensland or the coastal scrub of the Northern Territory, move carefully, watch the ground where the grass stirs, and understand that in these lands, death does not always come in the form of fangs bared in a roar, but as a flicker in the grass, a strike so fast that you will not see it, only feel the heat of venom flowing beneath your skin, reminding you that in the wild edges of Australia, the coastal taipan is a ruler unseen, whose power lies not in its presence, but in the silence that follows in its wake. Under the harsh, unblinking sky of Australia's heartlands, where the ground bakes beneath the relentless sun and the dry winds sweep across open fields and scrub, there moves a creature that carries death in a silence sharper than any blade. The eastern brown snake, slender and unassuming, its scales brushed in shades of tan, copper, and brown, moves like a whispered thought across the dust, unseen until it is far too close. It thrives in open woodlands, farmlands, and even on the outskirts of towns, sharing space with those who often walk barefoot across verandas and fields, unaware that the world's second most venomous land snake might lie coiled in the shade beneath a step, or hidden among the dry grasses at the edge of a fence line. The eastern brown snake's venom is a ruthless blend of neurotoxins and hemotoxins, a silent storm within the bloodstream that can cause progressive paralysis while disrupting blood clotting so severely that the victim may bleed internally, the blood thickening into fatal clots that starve organs of life. It hunts rodents, moving with quick, economical strikes, its fangs delivering the venom with precision before it releases, waiting for its prey to collapse in the heat and dust. There is a myth that the eastern brown snake will chase its victims, driven by aggression and hatred. But the truth is that it is quick to defend itself, lightning fast when cornered, and it will strike repeatedly if threatened. But it prefers to slip away if it can, vanishing into the grasses, leaving only the fear of what might have been. A chilling fact: the eastern brown snake is responsible for more deaths in Australia than any other snake, its range overlapping the places where people live and work, its bite a race against time where minutes matter, and the venom's work begins almost as soon as the fangs leave the skin. If you find yourself beneath the vast, cloudless skies of the Australian bush, or walking through fields where the grasses move in the breath of a hot wind, remember that death here wears the colors of the earth, moving with silence, choosing its moment with precision. The eastern brown snake does not roar or chase its prey with noise and fury. It delivers death with the quiet certainty of a creature that has survived by perfecting the art of the strike, leaving the land just as it found it, quiet, sunlit, and waiting for the next step to break the peace. Far from the coasts and cities, in the blistering emptiness of Australia's arid interior, where ochre sands crack beneath a burning sun and the wind carries nothing but the taste of dust. There lives a shadow so elusive that few will ever see it, and fewer still will live to speak if bitten. The Inland Taipan, known also as the fierce snake, moves with the silence of the desert, its scales blending with the pale earth, a ghost in a land where survival demands silence. It is not a large snake, nor does it wear bright colors to boast of its power. Olive brown and unassuming, it drifts among the cracks and stones of clay plains, emerging from its burrow in the cool dawn or dusk to hunt, moving with the calm certainty of a creature that carries the most potent venom of any land snake on the planet. Its venom is a pure and ruthless neurotoxin, potent enough to kill 100 men with a single measured dose, working with frightening efficiency to shut down the nervous system, halting breath and collapsing life into silence. It hunts small mammals, striking with precision and speed, delivering its venom and retreating as the poison begins its work, letting the desert reclaim the quiet as its prey stiffens and falls. There is a myth that the Inland Taipan is aggressive, a monster lurking in the sands. But the truth is the opposite. It is shy, reclusive, and rarely encountered, fleeing from disturbance rather than seeking conflict. Yet when cornered, when threatened, it can strike with a speed so blinding that even experienced handlers respect the blur of its movement, the certainty of its fangs. A chilling fact, despite carrying the deadliest venom on Earth, there are few recorded fatalities, for the Inland Taipan lives far from where most humans tread, and its reclusive nature keeps it hidden in lands where the silence of the desert swallows all but the wind. If you ever find yourself in the heart of Australia's dry lands, beneath the open sky where the heat shimmers like glass and the rocks burn at midday, remember that the most lethal creature on land does not announce itself with roar or rattle. It waits, patient, a quiet promise in the stillness, reminding all who walk these lands that in the world of predators, death does not always need claws or noise to reign supreme. Sometimes it comes in the form of a single measured strike from a snake that disappears into the silence it leaves behind. 12 snakes, 12 silent weapons, not forged in fury, but in venom, delivered in a blink, gone before the scream. From ocean depths to desert dust, we've seen life ended not with claws, but with chemistry. Strikes that paralyze, bites that melt flesh, death not roaring, but whispering. If this journey has changed the way you see the wild, if it's made you look twice at the quiet places, then you've only scratched the surface. There are more stories, more hunters, more things that kill without a sound. Subscribe. Stay with us. The Untamed Chronicles continue, and the next predator is already watching.